I know it is tempting to dismiss these micro-investing apps as just another Wall Street game for the already wealthy. But what if I told you that with one of these apps you could build wealth by investing as little as $1 at a time? For many of us, investing is something we want to do, but we don't feel we have enough money to get started. But the truth is, you don't need thousands or even hundreds to start seeing real results. With a few simple apps, you can start investing today with as little as a single dollar. And in this video, I'll show you how. But before we dive into that, let me ask you this. How much do you think you need to invest to make $300 a month in passive income? $30,000, maybe $60,000. Well, here's the thing. You actually need about $270,000 invested in a diversified portfolio of index funds to make that kind of money. That's a lot of money, and most people don't have that lying around. But what if there was a way you could invest smaller amounts and still see significant growth over time? What if I told you that with just $1 a day, you could retire with over $2 million? Now you're probably thinking that's impossible. But let me explain. Let's say you invest $1 a day, which is about the average amount people spend on coffee each day. If you invested that $1 in stock market, just a single share of Apple stock at its current price, you would own 0.0003% of the company. Not much, right? But what happens if you hold on to that share for 5 years? Well, if Apple continues to grow at its current rate, your share will be worth 14 times more. In other words, you'll have made a 1,400% return on your investment. That's the power of compounding interest, and it can make even the smallest investment grow into something substantial over time. So how much would you have after 10 years? Well, if you continue to invest $1 a day into Apple stock, you'll have built up enough shares to own 1% of the company. Now you're really starting to see the benefits of long-term investing. At this point, your $12,000 investment has grown to over $100,000. That's an incredible return on such a small investment. And the best part is that you don't need to be a financial expert to do this. You don't need to know which stocks are going to go up or down. All you need to do is invest regularly, even if it's just a few dollars a week. So what if you're not a fan of Apple? Well, that's where index funds come in. Instead of trying to pick individual stocks, you can invest in an index fund that tracks the overall market. This gives you instant diversification and the ability to ride the wave of the entire market's growth. For example, if you invested $1 a day into an S&P 500 index fund, you'd have enough money to retire early, even if you started with just $100. Now I know it might seem like a lot of time and effort to invest just a few dollars a day, but trust me, it's worth it. The biggest challenge is staying consistent and disciplined with your investments over time. But if you can do that, you'll be amazed at the results. In fact, Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors of all time, famously said that the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. In other words, it doesn't matter how much money you have to invest. What matters is that you stay focused on the long term and keep investing consistently. If you can do that, then you'll be able to retire with the financial freedom you deserve. All thanks to the power of micro-investing. So how will you actually invest this tiny amount? Well, that's where apps like Acorns and Stash come in. These apps allow you to invest spare change from everyday purchases, round up transactions to the nearest dollar, and invest the difference. For example, if you buy a cup of coffee for $4.35, Acorns will round it up to $5 and invest the 65 cents. Over time, this can add up to a significant amount. In fact, Acorns users have invested over $2 billion through this method. So if you want to start investing today with as little as $1, consider using an app like Acorns or Stash. Who knows? In a few years, you may end up with more money than you ever thought possible. It's time to start investing in yourself and your future. Don't wait. Start today and watch your wealth grow. Thank you for watching, and until next time, happy investing.